Hi, welcome to B-Ball Guys Report. Before I start, let me just say, I don't have a lot of access to, I don't want to spend 8 months editing Major League Baseball motion clips just so you can watch them on top of my video. I'd love to get them, but it's too much trouble. But we try to put together a good baseball video for you. Mostly about the information. What we do here is actually run across as a podcast, and we put the video together to kind of make it make sense for those of you who might be confused. But I am B-Ball Guy, B-Ball Guys Report. My topic I wanted to talk about was bad teams, not just last decade's bad teams. But hey, talking about bad teams any more past a decade could take a while, another video for another day perhaps, but I'm thinking of one bad team in particular. Now I could run you some stats, and I definitely will. I gotta warn you, this team's best stat I could find was 5th in slugging and 8th in batting average. Now the rest of this team's stats are in the tank, and I mean the tank. And most of these stats, they reside in the 17th through the 25th in the league category, although on some they absolutely do own some bottom place stats as well. So who is this team? Well, as we stick to our topic of bad baseball, ergo bad baseball teams, one of the biggest mysteries of Major League Baseball's post-steroid era is, in addition to bad teams, but how can Albert Pujols actually hit 700 homers? If he got on a hot streak, signed as a DH, just on Thursdays next year, he could beat the Babe's record. Yeah, I'm sorry, Hammering Hank's record, but he can beat Babe's record, not Hammering Hank's. Pujols can't get that many unless he actually plays more than Thursday. But Pujols could actually break Babe Ruth's record. He still carries more cachet than the two guys who already broke Babe's record. Now you know their names, Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds. Bonds, of course, obviously knows what steroids are, as does the MLB. But post-MLB steroid era, we still have horrible baseball, horrible lineups, and we still have a player who doesn't act like he's any different than Hank Aaron. Just be honest, he's a regular human, and he could actually beat the Babe's record this season. Well, at least hit 700 this year and start grilling. But our topic is bad teams. We're going to talk about a very bad baseball team tonight. We're going to break it down. You'll agree they're a bad team. The stats, they can't deny it. We're going to talk about that. But let's get acquainted here. If you're new to our channel, congratulations. You just saved yourself a ton of time. Why? We keep it simple. And since I said we, I guess there must be another guy. Well, yeah, we break baseball down the way it matters, and what matters most in any sport is winning. And how do you win? You score more. How do you score in baseball? Well, first, you gotta get on base. Keep doing that, and eventually they run out of bases, and you score. So, runs matter. And so do hits. So do homers, and slugging, and so forth. But you get the point. But scoring more often means playing defense. Some teams do that better than others. Some really bad teams don't hit well. Most bad teams don't hit well. Not hitting well almost always leads to losing. And losing is bad. We together on that? All right. Now I know it's backwards. And I could have already told you the team I'm talking about, or going to talk about tonight on this video. First, thanks for your patience. Thanks for your patience. This is a self-checkout lane. I keep it simple. No, you don't work here, but my scanner works and I do take debit cards. So, where were we? Yeah, this bad team has no excuse. It spends tons of money. It has great farm system. It has great general managers and even better field managers throughout its history. This team is usually a monster in this green earth. It definitely has a right to be called a monster. And this team's also in the American League. And it's not the Yankees. No, they are bad. They're just in a Yankees slump. So, one more clue. And then remember, it's self-serve. I'm just going to break this team down and see if you can figure it out. Before the end of the video, if you have figured it out, we can offer you some coupons at Dunkin' or something. The topic tonight has been bad teams. Talk about bad teams, and we could do that and no one really cares unless it's your team, but this bad team shouldn't be a bad team. That's kind of why it's interesting. And now, before I get you started, I hope I haven't given you too many clues. I'd like to introduce you to the other guy from our international department. Other guy, introduce yourself there, if you would. Well, yes, of course, I am the other guy. I help with the stats. I keep up with his mountains of paperwork and those mountains of stats. Just tell them the stats. You're not here to win an Academy Award. Sorry. So I am the other guy, but could I at least, perhaps, at some point get a nickname? A nickname? Well, I mean, you've got B-ball guy, so I feel like I should use a nickname. I would think that would be fair. I was thinking you could call me Post Steroid Announcer. And say PSA for short, or PPSA. I think the PSA is taken. Yeah, I think the PSA is taken, and the nickname, we'll have to get to that later. I got a lot to keep up with. I don't need to know what nickname you come up with this week. So if you want to get a nickname and go on TikTok and make a buck, I guess I could come up with something. But right now, let's get to the stats. We've drug it out. We've got these people wondering what team we're talking about. Like we tried to keep it a big secret. Coupons at Dunkin', as a reminder. Coupons at Dunkin' for someone who already knows what team it is? Yeah, we haven't told them. We've tried to keep it a secret. But now we got to tell you which team we're talking about. Not the name. We just got to tell you what kind of team they are. And that's where the stat guy comes in. All right. We're going to have to talk about this team. I don't know if we want to do this real quick and get it going. This video is running kind of long. And we want to talk about and break this team down just a little bit with stats. Not so much something that you can all look at your stuff on your apps. I'm not going to do all that, but the stats that matter. Remember, we keep it simple. The self-checkout lane right here coming up on the worst team. Well, one of the worst teams in baseball, at least this year. Stat guy, it's time to earn your money here. That stack of stuff you got to your left, we're going to have to be going back with you. I saw those stats when I looked at it, and I couldn't believe who they belong to. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm one of those guys, to be honest, when the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Braves or Cardinals, when those kind of teams kind of go there, I kind of like, good. You guys have it too good. You deserve a bum season. Well, I don't know about that. I can't be the judge. But somebody who is decided that they're going to have a bad team. This team is bad. Now, can it be fixed? We're going to have to, that's another video. But let's talk about what they brought to the table so far. We're in the stretch. We got 38 games. This team is 6 games out of the wild card. Its organization expects to win every year. Its fans think they're the best in the world, and nobody can tell them different. The team is usually very good. So let's talk about this team. Stat guy. This team has only 5 American League teams have a worse record. 7.5 out of the wild card with 28 left. It's up and down, but that's a lot to be out. Is it bail time? It's hard to say. I certainly think they've bailed. So the fans are enduring a lame duck season, and you go like, why do a video on a lame duck team? I'll make those decisions. We're talking about bad teams. It's not any fun this time of year when you got a bad team. It's just not. It's one of the worst things in the world. It's like you're going through the dumps and you're watching somebody else celebrate. And it's kind of hard to actually enjoy the postseason when your team sucks. Can we say sucks here? Well, we just did. Yeah, I know. Well, I didn't think you wanted to use such language. No. We don't care about the age. They suck, and the 3-year-old probably already knows it. All right. We made a lot of TikTok stuff, but we still hadn't talked about how bad this team is. Stat guy. This team has 19th in home runs. 19th. 17th. Overall in baseball, 1-loss percentage. Slugging is 12th. I mean, this team is not hitting. Well, maybe we should just end the video right here because it's obvious the problem with this team is the bats. We talked about the defense a little bit, but this team has some built-in advantages to hitting. They've got the only hitter in history to bat 400. It's like it's a built-in success to hit here. So, okay, stat guys. No, they're not pitching well at all. Let's go look at some of those pitching numbers. This team usually is a good team. It does hit well, and it also has good pitching. Team ERA, what was that? 4.46? That's the American League. That's okay. No, it's not. It's a terrible ERA, so that's maybe old school number. Well, remember, we gotta keep it simple. It's a self-checkout lane here. We keep it simple. The stats that matter. The stat guy just said ERA is old school. Well, suddenly, there's lots of more intelligent metrics than ERA to evaluate the pitching, but the ERA is high, but it actually isn't atrocious. So it's not like the hater for San Diego, was it 14 or something? It's not that terrible. It's 4.46. Yeah, 4.46 ain't bad, but it ain't what the Red Sox need to be doing, especially when they're not hitting. So an ERA is old school, but we're simple. Remember, now runs matter, and so ERA is about runs, and it's about the runs that you allow, and that's what pitching is all about. All the other stuff comes down to runs. ERA has everything to do with a pitcher's ability to win. So if ERA is in the bottom, what'd you say of his rank? ERA, what was the rank? Stat guy, come on. The ranking on this, we didn't get that. Well, you look that up. Anyway, it can't be that high. He's got a ton of paperwork, and the one stat I need, the old school stat, Mr. Stat Guy doesn't have how will they rank. But I can, 17th. Okay, that's not very good. So anyway, out of 30 major league teams, this team is really deficient in some categories that matter. For example, winning. This team is under 500, and that is embarrassing for this team's fan base, and I don't know if they saw it coming. We're going to have to do another video about it because we didn't really get down to the individual stories about this team. The front office has issues, but this team is ranked 17th. It should be ranked. I didn't look at their actual position in the MLB rankings post steroid era, but 17th is not where this team expects to be, And as you all know, we're talking about the Boston Red Sox. And since now we already got the cat out of the bag, we're going to have to regroup and tell a bitter story about how it got this way and how they can get it fixed. And that is definitely, we could probably write a novel about how much it's going to take to get this team fixed. We're going to break it down, all the frontline issues this team has. So our topic was bad teams, and a really bad team in particular, a surprisingly bad team. Not surprising, perhaps, if you were the front-end general manager, but the fans, I think, were a little shocked because they always expect to be well. The Red Sox, great franchise, great history, but it looks like they got great big problems. So it might be very interesting in the offseason to see what happens up in Fenway. And that Green Monster, he not eating. He a Green Monster, he needs to eat. But they also need to pitch. We're going to do another video on this. We got to run out of time here. We did want to talk about Pujols and 700 home runs, and will he make it? We think he will. Hank and Barry are pulling for him, I'm sure, in their own way. But this Red Sox team, it intrigued me enough. When I saw these stats, I said, I got to do a video about it because, first of all, they'll probably fix it and they'll be good next year. So you got to do it while you can. We did a Yankee breakdown earlier. And so I believe it's a common law that when you speak of the Yankees, you must speak of the Red Sox. They're like, two nemesis, and the Yankees are rolling in the best season ever until the slump. And now the Red Sox say, well, forget it. We're going to tank. It's a tank team. So getting down and studying all those personalities probably be a waste of time because they won't be there for very long. But we will do another video, and in this video we're going to talk about the front end, and we're going to analyze what we would do if we were the front end, the general manager of the Red Sox, and look for that. Thanks for joining us. Our topic was bad teams tonight, and it'll be that the next night because we're going to do another one about a really bad team, and you finally found out it was the Red Sox, and you'll get your Dunkin' coupons. Just be sure to, all you have to do is just tell us where to send them, and we'll put it in the comments if we didn't give them to you. Thanks for joining us. If you have never heard our program, we hope you got something out of it. We tried to break down a bad team, and the Red Sox are a bad team. They're usually not a bad team, and we're going to take the position of the front end office and put ourselves in that man's gray flannel suit. And we're going to talk about what we would do to fix the Red Sox as we were the general manager. And you are welcome to listen, and you can tell us what you think as well. So that's about it for tonight. Look for that front end office video coming up. We're going to fix the Red Sox because they don't need to be bad. They're a good team. They're just bad this year. That's all I got, folks. Keep on winning, and remember, keep it simple.